Today, the social leasing program is back and we're taking a look at the best offers. Dacia finally unveils its Striker, which meets 99% of the expectations of mentally well-balanced people. BYD was this close to scamming Renault, and the Tesla Model Y has never been this cheap. The social leasing program is back. We're going over the best deals, and some of them are particularly interesting. The government, in its infinite wisdom and with an increased budget of 401 million euros, that's 31 million euros more than last year, has decided to restart the social leasing program on July 16th. The goal is to put 50,000 low-income French people behind the wheel of a brand new electric car for less than 200 euros a month, and even less than 140 euros for a quarter of the catalog. But be careful, this year, the rules of the game have changed, and the catalog has been slimmed down. In 2025, we had 27 models. In 2026, it drops to 20 because the government decided to crack down on heavy vehicles. The maximum allowed weight goes from 2.4 to 1.8. No more big subsidized electric SUVs. So who can claim this holy grail of clean mobility? The conditions are simple. You must be working and living in France, have a reference tax income of no more than 16,880 euros per tax share, and above all, drive. Either you live more than 10 kilometers from your workplace and you go there by car, or you drive more than 8,000 kilometers per year for work. Now, let's get down to business. The cars. What can you get with your hard-earned money? Well, the star of the year will probably be the Renault Twingo, offered at 130 euros per month. But if you really want to save money, the Citroën EC3 starts at 94 euros, closely followed by the Fiat Grande Panda at 95 euros and the Opel Frontera at 99 euros. For those who want a bit more space, the Citroën EC3 Aircross is at 114 euros, the Kia EV2 at 137 euros, and a trio made up of the Hyundai Insta, the Nissan Micra, and the Renault R5 is listed at 139 euros. The Opel Corsa is also at 139 euros, while the Peugeot II208 costs 149 euros. If you move up market, the Jeep Avenger is at 169 euros, the Renault R4 at 170, and the Peugeot i2008 at 179 euros. Next, we have the Hyundai Kona and the Opel Mokka at 189 euros. The Renault Megane at 190, the Lancia Ypsilon at 195, and finally flirting with the psychological limit, the Alfa Romeo Jr. and the Peugeot i308 at 199 euros. There's no doubt that the Duo Twingo NR5 offered between 130 and 139 euros per month will be very successful. And for a modest household struggling with the price of unleaded, it's a golden opportunity. But be careful. With only 50,000 applications available and opening on July 16th, it's going to be a rush. Get ready. First come, first plugged in. To secure your spot right now, the link is in the description or in the bio. It takes 1 minute to complete, and a local advisor will contact you to help with your application. Then, stop looking for the car that meets the expectations of 99% of normal people. This is it. Here is the Dacia Striker. It's a mutant machine, a real Swiss Army knife that's 4.62 meters long and refuses to pick a side. It has SUV ground clearance for climbing curbs without scraping the oil pan, plus station wagon interior space, so you can fit half your house inside, and the sleek silhouette of a sedan so you don't look like an aerodynamic brick on the highway. Dacia calls it the best of three worlds. And for once, the marketing department isn't completely wrong. So why is this so brilliant? Because Europe is suffering from an overdose of SUVs. Today, nearly 60% of new cars sold on the continent are SUVs. Traditional station wagons, those wonderful practical machines, have been decimated, dropping to a miserable 7% market share. The Audi A4 Allroad and other Volvo V60 cross-country models have left the field, leaving a gaping void. And who comes rushing in to take it all? Dacia, with a raised station wagon that checks absolutely all the boxes and does it with a refreshing boldness. Aesthetically, the Striker has a nice look. There's a new T-shaped light signature and massive wheel arches, highlighted by raw plastic trim. Inside, it's absolute pragmatism, but with a touch of modernity that borders on sophistication. You get a standard 10-inch central screen and even a three-dimensional digital instrument cluster behind the steering wheel. Of course, the hard plastics are still there to remind you that you're not in a Bentley, but they're sturdy. And then let's talk about the trunk. 600 liters of capacity. Under the hood, it's just as practical with 3 hybrid powertrains. The entry-level model is a 1.2-liter mild hybrid with 140 horsepower that even accepts LPG, allowing you to drive for €1 per liter. Next, there's the full hybrid with 155 horsepower. And for those who live where snow is a real thing, there's even a 4x4 version with 150 horsepower and an electric motor on the rear wheels. And now, the final blow, the price. While the average price of new cars is soaring to stratospheric heights, Dacia announces that this family vehicle will start at under €25,000. Even if you check all the options, including the power tailgate and the panoramic roof, you'll barely go over €30,000. In 2026, Dacia experienced a slight dip in sales, mainly due to logistical problems. But with this Striker, it's about to do some real damage. And that's Dacia for you. It's the sensible choice, the ultimate family car, which rejects the snobbery of premium SUVs while offering exactly what real life needs. The Striker is arriving at dealerships soon. To be among the first to try it, use the link in the description or bio. For its part, BYD almost took control of Renault and even took a very serious look at Maserati. Let's start with France's flagship automaker, Renault. According to recent revelations, BYD tried not once, but twice to acquire a stake in Renault. The first time was in 2024 during the era of Luca de Meo. The second attempt dates back to the fall of 2025. Stella Lee, the formidable vice president of BYD, took advantage of her visit to the Choose France summit to meet with Jean-Dominique Senard, the president of Renault. On paper, BYD's offer looked like a simple technological partnership. The deal: let us take a stake in your company and use your European factories. And in exchange, we give you access to our magical technology for batteries and electric motors. Except that behind the scenes, it wasn't a partnership, it was a Trojan horse. Internal sources claimed that BYD's real goal was to take control of Renault. Fortunately, Renault politely but firmly showed Ms. Lee the door. First, because Renault is already working with Geely, BYD's major Chinese rival. Most importantly, the French government owns 15% of Renault and 30% of its voting rights. Needless to say, selling Renault to Beijing would have sparked a revolution in the streets of Boulogne-Billancourt. But BYD isn't the type to cry over a failure. If you can't buy French cheese, why not go for Italian pasta? Rumors have long swirled about the Chinese giant buying Maserati. The Italian Trident, owned by Stellantis, seemed like the perfect target to give BYD the premium image it still lacks in Europe. Well, sorry, but that's not going to happen. Stella Lee recently clarified the situation. Yes, Maserati is a truly splendid brand, she says, but acquiring it would take them too far from their identity. For its part, Stellantis put its foot down, reminding everyone that Maserati was not for sale. So what is BYD really looking for? It's simple, they want to become a local manufacturer. With the threat of European tariffs hanging over their heads, the Chinese know they have to produce here. Stella Lee admits it herself. Setting up in Europe is taking too long for her liking. BYD wants factories, and fast. They are actively looking to buy existing sites in Southern Europe and are preparing to build a massive battery factory. And finally, at Tesla, the Model Y has never been this cheap. And when I say cheap, I mean it's almost indecent. Remember, in 2025, Tesla was going through a rough patch. Elon Musk, between 2 provocative tweets and a rocket launch, had managed to alienate a good part of his customer base. Sales declined, boycotts began, and many believed the Model Y would gradually disappear due to European competition. But that was underestimating the man who wants to colonize Mars. In 2026, the response was swift. In the first half of the year, Tesla sales in France skyrocketed by 140%. And guess who crushed the Renault 5 Electric to reclaim the crown of the best-selling electric car? the Model Y with over 22,000 registrations. How? It's simple, by slashing prices with the subtlety of a jackhammer. The Model Y rear-wheel drive, the base version, is listed at 40,990 euros, which is already competitive in itself but still a bit elitist. So Tesla decided to bring out the heavy artillery for the summer. They're offering you a trade-in bonus of 5,000 euros, and that's just the beginning. The Model Y qualified under the EcoScore rules, an administrative feat in itself, which gives it the right to the famous CE bonus from the government. Depending on your income, this bonus ranges from 3,600 euros to 5,700 euros for the lowest income households. If you combine the Tesla bonus and the maximum government bonus, you get a staggering total of 10,700 euros in assistance. Do the math, you leave with a 4.75-meter-long electric SUV for 30,290 euros. 30,000 euros, and you get 534 kilometers of WLTP range and ultra-fast charging at 175 kilowatts. If you want to go further, the offer also applies to the long-range rear-wheel drive version. With its 609 kilometers of range and 250 kilowatt charging, it's listed at 46,990 euros. After the maximum incentive is deducted, it comes to 36,290 euros. Of course, to get the lowest price, you'll have to settle for the base version of the Model Y, without heated rear seats, the small touchscreen for rear passengers, electric steering wheel adjustment, or the panoramic roof. But what do you think of this Tesla discount? Let us know in the comments. And to take advantage of this offer, Tesla says you'll have to act fast. It's only valid for orders placed and delivered before September 30th. Use our link in the description or in the bio to save time. Thank you all for watching this new video. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to make sure you don't miss anything. Bye.